should be here any minute. He threw a party last night,
Yeah.
so I don't expect him to show up until, it's a bad day to, bad night to be throwing a party,
Yeah.
especially when he was supposed to be one of the organizers of this thing. We had a little falling out with one of the, at least I had a little falling out with one of the organizers. Because we ended up with corporate logos on a few things, and I was very specific, no corporate logos.
I feel that, yeah. I hear that.
And I didn't even put my own logo on there. So,
What corporations want a piece of this?
Well, it's worldwide today. We're in over 300 cities right now.
Yeah.
So that's great. All over the world. We're getting national news coverage and international. And Monsanto is actually replied, and they called us elitists for wanting to have a healthy diet. So pretty much they're a bunch of bullshitters, and even the best bullshitters couldn't come up with more bullshit, right? At least we have our senators out here in California listening to us, and they voted to repeal the Monsanto Protection Act, even though it lost. But Feinstein and Boxer both voted to repeal the act. So at least we have our senators on board. It was mainly the Republican caucus voted against it, which, was to be expected.
So is there something going on here, and then
11 o'clock,
move on down to...
and then we march down to Justin Erman Plaza. This is permitted.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah.
Nate again. Clark.
Hey,
Good to see you, brother. I'm gonna be following your stream, so you're going now?
I'm going right now.
That's awesome. Well,
Just be on it.
Posted up in the coffee shop on Maiden Lane.
Okay.
If you want any of the media folks to come see me, to give me their cards or whatever they gotta do.
Okay, you got all my information, right?
Yeah, I know how to find your stream and everything.
All right, good.
I think I have your phone number.
Yeah, well, you can't call me anyway.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't work.
Well, it does work, but
But it'll cut off your stream.
I don't answer it, which is kind of a drag. I should have a second phone. Yeah, we're working on that. And I just got another hotspot mailed to me today, which will be quite handy because then you can just sit out here in the field and be able to do your producing. And that's my next project, is working on a desktop app that produces live streams, because the stuff they got out now is like total crap. And I tried to get one going today on Ustream, and I couldn't get the desktop to show itself. And then I tried live stream, which was easy enough, but live streaming on the live stream software is inferior to even the Ustream, because they just don't have the social network thing set up properly. So that's the next project. I just finished with the app for Android, and I'll be releasing that in about a month as soon as I get it beta tested. So, but it's going to be superior to anything that's out right now. You'll have image stabilization built into the software. I haven't thought of a name for it yet. I'll probably call it Activist Stream, since that's the name of my site and everything. And it'll be it'll be free and open source. And you'll get a minimal amount of tech support, but if you want somebody on the phone, then you're going to have to join and pay a little bit of cash, but that's how we're funding it, is through the tech support. But I'm happy to consult with anybody that wants to set it up, especially activist groups that want to set up the live streams directly off their website. And I could actually provide them with space and RTMP servers and the whole my own, and it's all based out of Iceland, so we don't have to worry about copyrights or having the government come after us or anything bad like that. Right? So we're working on it. That's why I didn't take a real big hand in organizing this today, was because I'm busy with trying to get this app out and get it done.
You can't be. You really got to concentrate when you're coding.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been at it for 3 months, 100 hours a week. So to the detriment of my other activities, but that's all right. I'm not doing anything that special. And this event seemed to organize itself. I didn't have to. I only had to get into a big argument with Eric once, where he posted the contents of these Facebook comments. Yeah, that's fucked up, dude. I would never do that to him,
Yeah,
and I should have posted some of the shit he said, right? And But you know, I'm not. It's not about me. It's not about the game. I was
You just
just.
reminded me. I need to go make
Get on
myself an admin on the Facebook page so I can post stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm gonna go see if we can help you.
All right. All right. Talk to you later, man. Yeah, for those of you who are out there watching, you know what I'm talking about. And we're out here at Union Square here in San Francisco. It's an absolutely glorious day out here. Temperatures in the high 60s, probably reach about 70 today. Nice slight breeze blowing. Right now we've got hundreds of people down here in Union Square waiting the beginning of the demonstration. I'm hoping that we get more numbers because it seems right now we've only got maybe 500 people. This is a fully permitted demonstration by the city, so bring your children along. This is a child-friendly event. The march will begin here, and then we will be marching down Market Street until we get to, or down to Market Street, down Powell, and then we will be making a left onto Market on marching down to Justin Herman Plaza. So that's for everybody that wants to come down. If you're in San Francisco and you're in the area, please join us. We need your help in this worldwide struggle against Monsanto and biotech. I'm not saying that biotech is evil per se. It is only the monopolization and control of this technology that personally that I am speaking out against. And I would, a gentle bit of advice to you all out there, don't eat anything that comes out of a package. If you have to eat something that comes out of a package, chances are that it's not good for you. So stay away from all that processed packaged crap, which about 90% of it contains corn syrup monosolids, which is biotech corn that was genetically modified by Monsanto Corporation, and that's causing diabetes, type 2 diabetes, in most seniors and people that are over the age of 50 are starting to show up with type 2 diabetes. So if you stay away from eating of the packaged foods and only eat fresh organic fruits and vegetables, you will notice a big change in your health. You will have more energy. Your complexion will clear up. Your body will quit smelling so much. The results are extraordinary, and I suggest that you try that in your everyday life, because you are what you eat, and what you put into your body is what this is the energy that you need to survive, and it's the energy that you're going to manifest in your life. So stay away from all those packaged corporate foods. That's cereals, bread, unless it was cooked on the spot at a bakery with organic ingredients. Stay away from eating bread, especially stay away from eating meat. I would even not recommend eating any free-range animal products at all, and because there's no real need to eat meat, and you will be healthier as a result. Anyway, enough pontificating. There was news that came out today that aliens refuse to do crop circles in fields planted with Monsanto crops because they feel that it's too risky. So that's the latest news from the alien front for all you outer spacers out there. Not true, of course, not serious. But yeah, the aliens won't do crop circles in Monsanto fields. So even the aliens are afraid. Well, it's nice and peaceful out here. You definitely know that there's a protest going on. And looks like for once we're going to outnumber the police department. This whole event pretty much was progenited on Facebook by a Facebook posting, and took off since then. I only had to bring up the idea here in San Francisco, and immediately was seized upon by hundreds of people. And I'm extremely gratified that the people were able to make that happen. There's been a few disagreements about the demonstration, but nothing that would prevent that from being from happening. Especially disagreements concerning yours truly. And I didn't appreciate my comments on Facebook being posted to a public, to make them public, because it was a private conversation. And yeah, I'm one of the organizers.
It's a small sign if you want.
Okay, I got a whole stack of them. But anyway, cool, thanks. Anyway, here's the card. I'm gonna put my finger over the Facebook logo. So that's what's going on. And we're glad you're watching here today. We're down here at Union Square here in San Francisco. So if you're in the area, do drop by and join us. We'll be ending up down at Justin Herman Plaza. So come by, come out and show your support. Stop Monsanto. Be sure to write or call or email your congressperson, your senators. Yesterday they had a vote to stop the Monsanto Protection Act, which lost, unfortunately. But at least our senators out here in California, Feinstein and Boxer, voted voted for the amendment, which was to stop the Monsanto Protection Act or to end it. So at least we got our California senators on board, which I was actually quite surprised to see Feinstein voting with the Democrats, because she tends to vote with Republicans on a lot of these issues.
As she gets older, she does. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Another sidebar. I understand that there's talk in the wings of renaming our SFO to Feinstein Airport, and I'm dead set against that. If they can't name it after Harvey Milk, well then don't name it at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's funny. I've been in this city now for 14 years, and I have seen it go from really progressive to pretty conservative. And it's really weird how it's done that.
The whole rest of the world.
Yeah.
This is just a little island of semi-sanity.
But I mean, there's still a lot of people here that care, and I think a lot of them are out today, right here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was hoping. We're probably estimating about 5,000 people show up.
What was really funny is, see, my two friends that I'm going to be meeting up with that turned me on to this. I didn't know about it because, you know, you have to be part of a network, which I want to be. I thought, oh, fine. If they put it in here, we'll never see it because all the rich people are going to be running around in here. And then lo and behold, look at all the people. All I see is us. This is great. What's your name, by the way?
Clark.
Clark?
Yeah.
Richard.
Nice to meet you, Richard.
You too, Clark.
Yeah, I didn't have to do too much work on this. Just put the idea out there into the world, and public hatred for Monsanto runs pretty strong, especially since they've been manipulating the government. They did write, their lobbyists wrote the Monsanto Protection Act.
Yeah, I know.
The head of the EPA was a former Monsanto lawyer.
Right.
Can I name any more people that are in government that were part of the evil Monsanto Corporation?
What's the one senator?
How you doing?
Blunt? Is it Blunt or that stuck it in there or something? I forgot the name of the guy, but that guy, I hope they take him down. I think he's from the state of Missouri.
Well, that makes sense because the international headquarters of Monsanto are in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So they don't have a corporate office here in San Francisco. They tend to have their corporate offices in big ag locations like Oxnard, Davis. Yeah, if you're out there in Davis protesting, last month they shut down the Monsanto corporate offices for 2 days.
They did?
Yeah.
In St. Louis?
In Davis.
Oh, in Davis?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, St. Louis, you're next. We're going to warn you, Monsanto. Continue with your aggressive, anti-life behavior where you're destroying the biosphere. Continue it.
Well,
and see what happens to your corporation. We will shut you down.
You know, it's funny. I listened to this pretty conservative thing called Coast to Coast AM.
Well, they're not that conservative, but...
Well, they can be with guns and everything.
Yeah, well, they're libertarian.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. But I have a hard time with it, but all I do is just turn them off and listen to the good stuff about, you know...
No, that's what you could do.
Yeah.
Just tune it out.
But the one thing I realize is, you piss us off too much, all of us are headed right over and we're going to take them down. I swear I'll be there in the front of the line. You know, you know about Ed Abbey?
Hey, how you doing there?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
My daughter April. This is Clark.
Nice to meet you, April. Hey.
You know about Ed Abbey, the writer?
Yeah.
Monkey Wrench Gang?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a devotee of him. I'm all for it. If it has to be, I would do it.
Deep ecology.
Oh yeah. You're a good man, Clark.
I agree. Anything for Mother Earth.
Were you part of organizing some of this a little bit?
It's my idea.
I'm glad to meet you. This is great.
You know, I'm like at the point of my organizing now where all I have to do is put the idea out into the universe.
If we don't do stuff, it's just going to come at us. You know, it's funny. Everybody I meet, I said they don't know about corn and soybean.
Yeah, they don't realize that most of what they're eating is genetically modified. You know, it's like the only simple rule you can tell people is don't eat anything that comes out of a package. Right? Only stick with fresh foods and vegetables. Right? Stay away from eating meat, grains. You know, and because you can survive quite nicely. I've lost 150 pounds since I've been on a vegan diet.
Really?
Yes. You know.
Yeah, I shop at Rainbow.
Yeah, they're the best store in town.
Rainbow is...
And the extra money that you pay will save you money in the long run because of diminished health costs, right?
People don't realize that. I won't go to Whole Foods at all.
No, whole paycheck.
Whole paycheck. I will not go there. That guy is a jerk. He doesn't like women at all.
No, anything that's capitalist oriented.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's done in a profit for your food. It is possible to grow most of your own food in a really small space. It doesn't require that much area.
I don't have the light. I'm going to start cheating and putting stuff up on the roof. I just bought some organic lettuce. And
lettuce is really good.
And what I'm doing is,
dandelion.
I'd like to have my lettuce.
Marijuana. Believe it or not, the marijuana leaves are actually quite good to eat.
I know.
Right.
Oh, I would do. Yeah, believe me. I don't have a card or anything because I don't need one. You know, but I get plenty of what I want. And you know, your terpenoids, your terpenes,
right?
Cannabinoids, and then terpene. There's like 200 different ones in certain marijuana, and it's kind of funny. This is what pissed me off the other day when I started. My roommate is a chemist.
Right.
So what does he tell me? He goes, one of the terpenoids is anti-cancer. One of them is anti-diabetic. So that you smoke it, you get the better strain. I'm sure you can go to you get the education at the different clinics. The other one is for memory. It helps your memory.
Yeah, it prevents the brain from aging.
And it's like, you mean to tell me they said 50, 60, 80 years ago that was bad for your memory? It's because we want to be in the present moment. We want to be happy, you know? And they're telling us it's bad for your memory. So you tell somebody over and over again it's bad for your memory, you think
they'll
it's
start believing it.
It's completely the opposite. That stuff's good for you. I can't even imagine what the 197 other terpenes are for. But anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, and anti-bad memory. It's like,
Anti-Alzheimer's.
Anti-Alzheimer's, yeah.
I mean, there's all these hosts of, just legalize the shit now. Government, get off of your fucking high horse. Quit telling us what to do. It's obvious that the government can't even run itself. What makes you think that they're going to be telling you, how you can run your own life? Fuck the government.
I love the other day.
Don't let anybody tell you what to do.
Did you see
Basically.
That? Remember the headline this week? Smoking marijuana leads to crime. Did you see that?
That's bullshit argument.
But it's all over the paper, and that's what sucks.
Well, who reads the papers anymore?
It was just like saying that ethanol gums up your car.
Right, a live stream.
That came out about a month and a half ago from the oil companies, and it turns out.
Who owns the media?
Huh?
Who owns the media? 6 companies control everything that you watch or see on television.
General Electric and all these different ones. It's just, the Hearst Corporation, at least they allow some liberal talkers, but they put up with it.
Well, they hate marijuana, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hearst is the one.
They didn't realize that hemp would make the best paper, but they don't realize.
No, best food, best paper, best buildings.
But best of everything. I tell you though, the deeper we're pushed into this stuff, the more we're going to get together as a community and help each other.
Well, let's hope so.
The heck with it.
Let's hope so.
It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
I'll be around, sir.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be here for the duration.
Speaking of, I just got a whip. Good.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Now we're getting ready to start.
Everybody can hear me? Cool. I've never done this before.
No, it's always the first time for everything.
I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm a little nervous. So I'm going to stand over here, and when I get a little more comfortable, I'll move over there.
All right, that's Eric Eberman.
Thank you all for coming, and it's obvious why we're all here. This is a really important issue, and I want to tell everybody really quickly why I'm doing this. And then I'm going to pass the mic on to our first speaker. I've been an activist of some sort or another for a long time, but I have an adopted family in Mexico, and in March, my second daughter's husband died of colon cancer. And when he was a child of 9 years old, he was sent to work on a coffee plantation in southern Mexico where he was exposed to Roundup and other agricultural chemicals, and that's what killed him. He was 39 years old. He suffered for 5 years. He was a really sweet man, and so he's left 5 kids from a year to 10 years old, and Monsanto's to blame. That happened at the end of March. Monsanto and others. That happened at the end of March, and I was feeling really, really depressed and indignant about it, and I've been sending a lot of money down there to help them and secure their property and their land. And then this March came about, and it landed on my desktop on my computer, and I said, wow, you know, that's something that I can do. And at the very beginning, there really wasn't anybody making noise about this issue here. There wasn't a specific organizer, and Jenny Coppertone, somewhere around here, volunteered to try and get a permit, and I stepped in to help her, and I've been typing on the computer ever since. I estimate I've typed, how many words have I typed? About 1 million words in the last 7 weeks? Literally. And so that's why we're all here, and we are here to send a message to Monsanto and to the U.S. Congress and to our state legislatures and everybody that's making a profit on this death, that that's not acceptable, and that we have a right to have healthy food. That is a basic human right, and there's nobody who can take that away from us. And we need to tell everybody we know, and convince them that this is what has to happen right now. This is urgent. There's no time to wait. These seeds that they've created are aggressive. They're killing the bees, and they're infecting everything else. We have to stop it. So I'm going to hand the microphone over now to Sierra. Sierra is going to sing to us and tell us some poems, and that's how we're going to get started. And we've got a lot of fun and interesting stuff today. I have one last comment, and that is that I believe that we don't have to be angry we have to be angry, but we don't have to express our indignation with anger. We can do it with creativity, with song and music and art, and I think that's a lot more effective way than doing anything else. Because that's why I'm wearing a tie. I forgot to say that too. I'm wearing a tie today for all of you. I never wear ties. I'm a carpenter. I'm dusty and dirty every day. This is the last time in my life anyone will ever see me in a tie. But it's all for you, because I want those that are up on top over there and when it's on TV to say that this is a respectable movement. This is about every family from the ground up. Alright? So let's have a great time today, and let's send a really good message. And Sierra, the mic is yours, wherever you are.
Nice crowd out here today. Oh, maybe 1,000.
Which does an outrageous job.
That's a Baltic right out there.
Short song. Take me back, oh hills I love. Lift me from this lonely bed. Light my way with stars above. Curl soft wings about my head. Wash my feet in crystal streams. Cradle my arms in barrels of oak. Breathe the scent of pine for dreams. Wrap me tight in earthen clothes. Howdy, folks. I sing that because when I go, I want to be in the ground and turn back into earth. I want to turn back into soil that something else can grow on. I don't want to leave lifeless soil someplace. And I think that we need to protect and preserve all of nature. Here we are on this beautiful day as we start this day in this gathering together, joining our hearts, minds, and beings internationally. We're not just here. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of people all over the world that have had enough of Monsanto and profit at the expense of life. We're here to support a future worth living in. I'd like us to take a moment and consider why we are here and what is at stake. What is being created in our world and what are we leaving behind? What are GMOs and why are we concerned? Myself, I'm a gomophobe. Many of us believe GMOs to be a crime against nature. How can you patent a life or a seed, and how can anyone own the commons of nature, which rightfully belongs to all life? Some folks say that we need to focus on local issues and take care of local. I say global issues are local issues. Poisoning the air, water, and soil via GMOs, nukes, fracking, keystone tar sand, and other technologies which create far-reaching and virtually toxic environments over vast areas of our very small and finite planet are local issues, and we create and demand much of it through our own consuming habits.
Yeah, just make sure you don't stand.
That's worth thinking about a lot. It's like, what are we creating with each waking dollar that we spend? If we buy a bag of Doritos or whatever, where's that money going to? How do we be satisfied with what we have? What if Chicken Little was really being overly optimistical? Sometimes I used to be lazy and have a bag of Doritos. I liked the taste. But no more will I buy any products which are known to contain GMOs. If we all do this with every purchase, yes, it may cost us more up front, but I can guarantee you the future may be worth living in. What's the real cost? And be vigilant. Don't support a snake in organic clothing. Get educated on who owns which products and companies. Cut off the lifeblood of money to these companies. Do not support insane pay for management and CEOs while products are being made by effectual slaves or the manufacturing process leaves toxic and lifeless environments. We choose with every waking dollar the future we are creating. It's time to quit dreaming of Dr. King's world and to embody Gandhi's spirit and be the change we wish to see in the world. I walked around here earlier handing out postcards, and there was a gentleman over here that he and his wife refused the card a few times, and I was trying to be persistent and have a conversation with them. They're farmers someplace in probably the Central Valley, and all he could say is that we're totally ignorant, and that people in Africa that are starving want the technology, and somehow everyone's going to starve to death if we don't have GMOs. I couldn't really talk with him much. There was too much belief in the way. How do we have a conversation, or how do we challenge or even change each other's beliefs? Because there are people that believe that very strongly. It's hard. I told him, it's like, we'll see what happens, you know? We'll just see. Can we be more kind? Can we be more loving? Can we accept others with differing beliefs and skin colors? Can we live and act in ways which create a diverse, healthy, and sane world? Can we be grateful and satisfied and not grasp for more and more as hungry ghosts? Can we take the time and spend a little more for what we do consume and ensure that it is being produced sustainably by workers paid a living wage? Or do we just go to whatever company and clothing stores making clothing in Bangladesh or Pakistan and paying people not much in unsafe conditions with no health care? What are we getting for our purchases? Is the cheapest product we get from the Gap or Macy's or wherever, is that really cheap? What's the pile left in the landfill behind that? Do we choose healthy, diverse communities of folks working together, or do we choose to live in fear with homeland insecurity and endless wars? There really is no enemy, only hunger, fear, mistrust, greed, etc., and the folks we may call other. The same folks which may call us other. We all have children, hopes, and dreams, and sure, there's some really creepy folks and creepy beliefs in the world, but most folks you will find anyway are worthy of being called friend. I'd like to be able to talk to the gentleman that didn't want to talk to me about GMOs, and I'd like to, be able to call him friend. have dominion and own and alter, or are we here to be stewards, to work with and protect all of nature? How do we become stewards of the commons of nature and not consumers with so little regard for the diverse living and intertwined systems which we call life? How do we educate each other and live in ways which leave enough for others to live, and other humans and other life? A friend of mine who grew up during the Depression said that they didn't have a lot, but they had enough. And enough is what you had. And you got by, and community was more important than stuff. I think as a culture we're trying to fill ourselves with stuff. We don't need more stuff. Any street corner I go by, it seems like there's piles of stuff with free signs on it. It's like... I saw a photo on the internet yesterday of flames engulfing what was labeled as a field of Monsanto GMO corn, which was burned by Hungary, a country in Europe which has a policy, laws, and rules against GMOs. I passed the photo along and added, may we kindle this wildfire and help it to grow and spread worldwide. No, I do not wish to see actual flames and fire, but I do want to see the flames of determination, the flames of steadfastness, and the flames of love for all beings engulf our world. We need to kindle these flames within each other and not allow corporate or human greed to dictate policy which is destructive of the commons of nature. And the commons of nature do not belong to us. I'm sure that there will be other people speaking about the evil of Monsanto, of Agent Orange, of herbicides, such as Roundup and worse, which poison the air, water, and soil. People will be talking about GMO seeds and patents and the ownership of life by corporate persons, whatever they are. People will be talking about farmers committing suicide after being enslaved and indebted to corporate thugs such as Monsanto. How can you own life? How can you own or patent a seed? How can you make people buy seeds? I don't know. Some of us may have all the facts and the science, and some of us may just know in our gut that something is not right without being able to get out more than an angry grunt about the subject. Earth Day has come and gone for 43 years now, and how has our world changed in that time? Really, one day or instant is not Earth Day. There's a lot of talk about local. What does local mean in this global age of non-living slave labor wages and lunches and products shipped around the world? Oops, sorry, no air or soil left? Try again in a few 100,000 years? Just does not seem like an acceptable option. There is no planet B. We need to take care of and rebuild this planet, which is possible and it's doable, and it's going to take some work. A friend of a friend recently wrote, I say this all by way of emphasizing the point. We live and die by our narratives. And the stories we tell ourselves as a culture are some of the most powerful forces on earth. What is our narrative as humans or as Americans? Is our narrative about the big house and consuming and having more stuff? Or is our narrative about having community and sharing and being creative, improving the soil? We can change this world with every waking dollar we spend. With every dollar we invest in and create the future. What are we buying, consuming, and supporting with any purchase we make? If enough of us refuse to support products made by Monsanto, or which entail endless wars, fracking, nukes, etc., they will go away. I'd like to end with just saying, take a second and just be quiet for a second and listen. What do you hear? Where are we? Look around. What do you see? What was here 50 years ago? What was here 100 years ago? What was here 250 years ago and before that, which didn't change for probably a millennium? Everything which is here now is local to somewhere, perhaps close by and perhaps not. And everything man-made or altered which you can see came from once living and diverse ecosystems. What is left of those ecosystems? How do we live and build within the living systems as nature and leave them living as the challenge? Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. We're all so excited to be here. You can't imagine how much love and cooperation has come forward in making this day happen. I wanted to introduce Donnie, our beloved mushroom guy. He's going to share a few words with you, and then we're going to move along as quickly as we can.
All right, I'm not a professional orator, so bear with me. I'm going to read you what I prepared. My name is Donnie Creekmore. I own an urban mushroom farm.
Come out so people can see you.
Thank you. Let's see. I'll start over. My name is Donnie Creekmore. I own an urban mushroom farm in the Central Valley called Fungivore Mushrooms, where I specialize in oyster mushroom cultivation. My story of becoming a mushroom farmer began 6 years ago when, after watching a YouTube video, I became obsessed with anything mushrooms. I was seasoned gardener at the time, and I saw the potential but lacked the background and experience. So I bought some books on the subject and began cultivating mushrooms. I would read up and practice this new hobby on my free time after working all day as a carpenter. Sorry, my bad. Long story short, I now own a thriving urban farm and have filed patents on my own mycological inventions. I hope these inventions will make a positive impact on the environment in a way that is closely related to the cause we have all gathered here today to address. But enough about me. I came here to offer 2 simple solutions everyday passionate people like yourselves can use as alternatives to chemical pesticides and herbicides, and 1 solution that can be used to clean up areas contaminated with these products. The first solution is well known and can be found by searching on Pinterest.com for vinegar herbicide. There are many recipes, but the one I see the best results from is made by mixing 1 gallon of white organic vinegar, 1 teaspoon of organic dish soap, and a ½ cup of salt into a pump sprayer and apply it liberally onto the weeds, just like Roundup. It's incredibly effective. With this simple, cheap, safe, and amazingly effective alternative, there's really no logical reason anybody would pay money for a product like Roundup. In addition, spraying products like Roundup not only kills weeds, but also kills soil-borne life forms like worms and fungi. The vinegar herbicide kills weeds, but is made of harmless ingredients that pose little to no threat to fungi and soil fertility. An obvious choice. The second solution is the use of entomopathogenic fungi as an alternative to pesticides. I know that's big scientific words there. My favorite of these insect-killing fungi I call C. milli, which is short for Cordyceps militaris. Say you have like a termite or cockroach infestation. Instead of spraying toxic chemicals all around your house or business, you can trick your insect enemies to commit systematic suicide. Yeah. C. milli accomplishes this because the pre-sporulation form of this fungi, called mycelium, is a hyper-attractant to the insect populations its spores otherwise repel. When the mycelium of C. milli is exposed in an infested area, a frenzy of hungry insects devour and share their newly found feast. Afterwards, something amazing happens. The fungi comes alive and begins secreting chemicals that compel its host to climb high into the canopy and the plants above. This is where the insect is completely colonized by C. milli until, boing, a mushroom pops out of its head. The best part is that this mushroom releases spores onto the area that create a natural force-filled repellent for future infestations in that area. This is a revolutionary discovery that will turn the pesticide industry on its head. The third solution I have to offer is mycoremediation, which is the process of using fungi to degrade or absorb environmental contaminants. Specifically, oyster mushrooms are known to secrete enzymes and acids that degrade pesticides on a molecular level. In nature, oyster mushrooms break down long chains of hydrogen and carbon in the form of lignin and cellulose. They do this by attacking the bonds that hold hydrocarbons together. So as they do with plant material, oyster mushrooms also break down hydrocarbons that make up pesticides, oil, gasoline, crude oil, and other toxic hydrocarbon arrangements. Long complex chains of hydrocarbons are the very elements that are toxic to plants, animals, and people. Oyster mushrooms take that toxicity and convert it into harmless fungal sugars. Experiments have even shown that oyster mushroom mycelium feeding primarily on crude oil will present zero toxicity in their mushrooms. They basically take cancer-causing elements and turn them into edible mushrooms. Monsanto's is famous for creating DDT, which is a chlorinated hydrocarbon pesticide, which is just science talk for saying carcinogens mixed with bleach. Lovely stuff that fortunately was banned in 1972 due to its residual activity and accumulation in biological systems. Even today, there are still contaminated areas affecting local bird populations. These areas could be easily treated with oyster mycelium to hasten nature's healing. Thanks to the internet, getting your hands on fresh oyster mycelium is as easy as ordering MP3s of Justin Bieber. There are plenty of farms out there online with mushroom kits, oyster mushroom grow kits, but if you like to root for the underdog, you can help me and my farm by getting our kits at myco2bag.com. Our kits are made from recycled material and come with their activation date printed so you know it's fresh. So get online, get yourself some oyster mushroom mycelium and really make a difference. Thanks a lot, I'm Donnie, Fungible Mushrooms, myco2bag.com.
Thank you so much, Donnie. Our next guest is a famous filmmaker. Famous, you probably all have heard of her work, The Future of Food, Deborah Coons Garcia. Come on out. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you. My name is Deborah Coons Garcia, and I've been observing Monsanto for about 15 years now, observing how Monsanto operates and how it does things in the world. And I started researching this because I was making a film called The Future of Food. And when I started researching, I found out that Monsanto was buying up the seed supply, that they were genetically engineering seeds so they could be sprayed with poison and not die, their Roundup Ready technology, that they were genetically engineering seeds so every cell produced a poison, the BT technology, that they were patenting these and suing farmers if this happened to blow in a farmer's field even though he didn't want it. I learned that about substantial equivalence, which said that GMOs are exactly like non-GMO and therefore they don't need to be tested. These have never been tested for human health. They don't need to be labeled. I found out about the revolving door. Michael Taylor is a famous example. He's still back. He's around again. So I found out about all of this and I was shocked. I was shocked at what they were doing and I was shocked that I didn't know about it. Because I was living in Marin County, I'd been an organic fanatic for 40 years, highly educated about the food system, and I didn't know anything about it. So I made the film, and now, because of the work of a lot of people all over the world, the people putting together this march, the people attending it, lots and lots of people know what Monsanto's doing, and we don't like it. So I've made a new film called Symphony of the Soil, and I really appreciate the two speakers who just spoke about the soil. It's about soil and our relationship to it, and I deal with genetically engineered organisms and corporate takeover of soil and the food system, and so that film came out last year. I was invited to show the film at the largest convention of soil scientists last October. Thousands of soil scientists come together at this Tri-Society convention. Happened to be in my hometown of Cincinnati, so how could I say no? I went, and when I walked in the convention center, I saw signage all over the place about who was sponsoring this convention, and at the very top was Monsanto. Monsanto was the primary sponsor of the primary convention of soil scientists in this country. And, I looked at that, and they were right up there, and it didn't seem to me that it meant that they were number one. It seemed to me that they were an oppressive presence hanging over science, hanging over our society and our food system. And I thought, we really have to change this. To the credit of the scientists who organized the convention, they invited me to show my film, even though it's quite well known that I'm
anti-GMO and pro-organic. So I showed the film, and afterwards we had a rousing discussion between the people who believe that sustainable and agroecological methods can feed the world, and there have been many studies about this by the UN and all kinds of people. We can feed the world, it's a better way to feed the world. And those people that were pro-industrial agriculture, who it turns out are jealous of organic. One of their comments was, why does organic get so much attention? Why does everyone want to talk about organic? So they were kind of jealous of it. And on my panel that day, that afternoon, was a man named Dr. Daniel Hillel, who came to the convention right after receiving the World Food Prize for inventing drip irrigation. He's in my film. He wasn't in it for that. He was in it because he has developed a wonderful philosophy about soil. He's in his 80s, and he's been considering soil for many, many years, and that's why I wanted him in the film. So he was on my panel afterwards, and he said, I like the film, I don't agree with everything in it, but we have to reevaluate our assumptions about agriculture. And I agree. We need to reevaluate our assumptions about agriculture. We need to look at our values and those of Monsanto to see whether or not this is what we want, and this is what we want in the future. So, let me see here. Sorry, I'm a better filmmaker than I am speech giver. I always get nervous and have to
Doing fine.
do it. So, one of the things that happened recently, and so you look at what direction we're going and what direction Monsanto is going, is that the Supreme Court recently, in front of the Supreme Court, the hearing, people described seeds as a self-replicating technology. So they're no longer seeds, they're a self-replicating technology, just like computer programs. And the big corporations from Silicon Valley agreed with this, which is absurd. So you know how those self-replicating technologies can just jump on your computer when you don't want it, and then you have to pay the company and you can't get it off your computer. You know how that works. So I kind of think about those people and those assumptions as they need to spend more time outdoors. So some of the other things that have happened recently is that Monsanto has passed a law that says that even if a court says that GMOs can't be planted, they can still be planted. And we know that they're willing to spend millions of dollars to stop labeling. Now they're trying to pass a law that says that no state can pass labeling. So this is the tragic thing about the way that Monsanto is barreling down one course, and the people are choosing a different course. The people are choosing organic, they're choosing local, they're choosing sustainable, they're choosing a healthier way of life. So, last weekend, I met a man who had inherited some land in Nebraska. He inherited 500 acres. He lives out here, but he inherited this land, and it's leased out, and they grow GMO corn on this. 500 acres, and it's surrounded by thousands of acres of GMO corn. And he wanted to stop planting GMO corn. He wanted to take back control of those 500 acres, but he was afraid. He was afraid because he knows that all that corn that's around him will contaminate that land, and Monsanto will come calling, and their lawyers will come calling, and he said, I don't have enough money to pay lawyers to fight Monsanto. So he was afraid. And this is one possible future. You're having your farm or your garden. Monsanto sets up shop right next door. They plant crops similar to the crops that you're growing. Their pollen and their seeds contaminate your land. You owe them. You have to come up with the money to pay them. And you're afraid to grow what you want because they're surrounding you. They are the takeover bully of this planet. I think we need, we need to reevaluate our assumptions about agriculture. And one of the things that we need to reevaluate and get Monsanto out of the government is then when their patented DNA goes on our property, They're sued for violating our property rights, rather than the opposite. So, I've spent the last 15 years making films about Monsanto, researching Monsanto, writing about Monsanto, speaking about Monsanto, but I've actually never met Monsanto. I would like to do this. So, hey, Monsanto, where are you? You know, I know you're here. This is your day. It's all about you. So I have a question for you. How does it feel to be the most hated person, I mean corporation, corporation, on this planet? That all over the world today, people are saying no to Monsanto. They're saying, we don't like you. We want you out. There are whole continents, whole countries, counties, provinces, towns, villages that want Monsanto out of our fields and out of our food supply. So I agree. We have the right to label our food. We have the right to know what's going on. We have the right to say no to Monsanto. And today and in the future, we are saying that loud and clear. No to Monsanto. Get out.
Yeah. Yay. All right.
Deborah, thank you so much. Words of wisdom. Thank you for your work. Thank you for bringing light to this important topic. Thank you all for being here today. We've got Eric here wrapping up an interview with Channel 7. Rachel, can you give us a few moments of time? This is Rachel Petrovitz from Label GMOs. Hi! I'm so excited you all are here. Thank you so much. I'm with Label GMOs, the grassroots group that brought Prop 37 to the ballots. We have gathered people all over the place, getting people involved, knowing what GMOs are, and it's so awesome to see so many of you out here today to stand up against Monsanto, because we know we all don't like them. I just wanted to let you know really quick, we have a table over there and we have meetings going on. We have groups all over the state. We have groups in the Bay Area. We need all of you to get involved. We have so much going on. We have so many more people we need to talk to and reach, because this place could be packed. We can have thousands of you, so we need you to get involved. We have sign-up sheets, meetings going on. We have a full day planned ahead of us, tons of speakers, great agenda, nice little march, so thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Eric Eberman, it's time to step up.
Oh, I'm thanking all of you again for coming out, and the crowd's a whole bunch bigger than it was 10 or 15, 20 minutes ago, which is awesome. So I want to remind everybody that one of our purposes here today is to demonstrate our indignation with Monsanto in a peaceful way. And we don't need to start fights. We don't need to spray paint
sorry, folks. Gotta get my chair here.
That's unacceptable. We want to keep everything nice and clean because we want our message to get across. Right? I'm not here to fight. I'm here to win.
Hey, Eva. You know, I think I'm going to take a seat here for a second. Anyway, we got lots and lots of folks down here. Union Square here in San Francisco. Glad you're watching. We're at the March Against Monsanto. It's a worldwide event in over 300 cities. That's been happening all day today, and will continue into the evening. I'm going to take a little break from being up there on the stage. It's rather hot by San Francisco standards. Where's Human at anyway?
Huh?
Where's Human at? Sleeping?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, he's at home asleep. I know what he's doing. Yeah, of course he had a party, threw a party last night. And I was like, well, you know, dude, I'd like to go, but, you know, I have this to take care of. And work always comes first, unfortunately. At least in my life.
You think I can fire up right here? Is that
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a problem.
disrespectful?
No, not at all.
So we have a family event.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. Marijuana is pro-family. Oh, so what? Kids need to smoke pot, too. I started when I was 11. And I'm a pretty bright fellow, so... Oh, there's Chicken Little.
Let's see those chicken wings.
Yeah, you'll be ready. Hey, Minnie, can I get you for one more second? Okay, cool. There you go. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And people go here. Can I get you guys to the medics?
All right, folks, I think I'm going to mosey on back up to the stage. You know, keep in mind that live streaming is different than regular media stuff. It's because we're in here for the duration. Media only has to, mainstream media only has to capture like about 10 seconds worth of video. So we're out here all day. So remember that.
We all got to know each other.
If you run into Human,
I'll let him know
that
you're
we're
looking.
for him.
No problem.
It's also a super expensive ticket to sit on the square.
Okay. I'm not worried about it. They really feel like handing me a ticket, so be it. Anyway, we got a nice crowd out here today. I guess there's about 1,000, maybe 1,500 people. It's doubled in size. Anyway, you can write me up for all the tickets you want, folks. I doubt if I'll ever pay one. I haven't paid a ticket in years, and I don't intend to start doing that now. I'll get on the speaker thing here in just a minute. Well, we got a nice crowd here. Lots of good people. Remember, you are what you eat. Stay away from packaged foods, and think organic, and only fresh fruits and vegetables. Please, if you really like yourself and you're really concerned about your health, that's what I recommend. I also recommend you don't smoke and don't follow into my bad habit. Anyway, we're gonna move on here just a little bit more. I want to give you guys a few shots of how many people that are actually here. Close to 1,500 people down here at Union Square. If you're in San Francisco in the general vicinity, come and join us. We'll be leaving on the march around 1:30 p.m. We will be headed to Justin Herman Plaza. So there, we'll be around all day today. But if you don't hit us up at Union Square, you can hit us down at Justin Herman Plaza. This is a fully permitted event, child friendly, so you can bring your kids on down, and pretty sure we don't have to worry about getting arrested today because there's no civil disobedience plan. But the best thing you can do about stopping Monsanto is just quit buying their shit. You know, and it's really hard, but there's a list up there on Facebook, and it's practically every company that manufactures things in a package. So if you stay away from packaged foods and only eat fresh, organic food, well then you'll be able to stay away from Monsanto. But it has to be organic, because corn, as we all know, is a genetically modified organism now. 80% of all corn has been genetically modified, so stay away from corn, most of it, unless it's labeled organic. Monsanto's demonstrators out here.
Ready? Count 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alright.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yep. Alright,
So glad you could join us here. We're at March Against Monsanto, Union Square, San Francisco. We'll be here if you're in the area till 1:30 p.m. If you'd like to check out some other streams, you can go to globalrevolution.tv. And they have a more comprehensive international coverage of March Against Monsanto, which is happening in 300 cities around the world, 29 different countries. So check out globalrevolution.tv or Glassbeadian, GLASSBEADIAN, and he's at ustream.tv. And he's doing a desktop application presentation. So we're not greedy about our coverage. We want you to watch and participate. That's more important to me. Reaching our way back up to the stage here. I got my seat. Perdona, por favor. Pardon me?
Vamos a lograr en este mundo poder del amor y la justicia.
Pardon me?
Okay, like Kristen said, we have to share the word, people. We have to share the word and get more people involved in this fight. Because we are a lot, and the 1% are a few. And together, if we unite, we can fight together. The world, you know, in this world, we live like fishes in water. If Monsanto contaminates our environment, if Monsanto contaminates the water, if Monsanto contaminates the soil, we are going to be contaminated. And then what to our children? A following note that the sister said is, in the Latin American countries, they're taking our food. Maize is our staple food. People are going hungry because they can't afford to sell their organic corn against this transgenic corn. So they're going hungry, and then they're coming up here, looking for opportunity, looking to be fed. What is this system about? They take our food, and then when we cross, because we're hungry, we're criminals? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Yo creo que lo más importante es que sigamos unidos. La unidad nos va a hacer destruir toda esa locura. y no debemos permitir que nuestros niños sigan jugando a matar muñequitos, porque ellos van a ser los guerreros que use este sistema para destruir el planeta. Gracias.
The last thing that our sister Gloria said is that we have to take care of our children. We gotta watch out what they're playing with. These video games, these violent video games that are letting them up to be part of a horrible, horrible war with drones, where they will be the victims that take the life of other victims. We gotta stop this systematic violence at all its levels, in our food sovereignty and in our life sovereignty. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a little rap for you guys. I'm very happy to be here. I'm with the Yo Soy 132, and we're just here, you know, because we really care about corn, because it's part of our culture, it's part of our body, it's part of our spiritual beginnings as a people. Nos quieren chingar el maíz, no en nuestro país. Vas para abajo, GMO, vas para abajo, Monsanto. Nos quieren chingar el maíz, no en nuestro país. Vas para abajo, GMO, vas para abajo, Monsanto. Ha! The U.S. produced the transgenic Jews, BT or Roundup, study to have already. Growth, sell more. You know how it goes in the systematic violence, brutality. They're taking the food flow, they're taking the nature flow. Nos quieren chingar el maíz en nuestro país. Vas para abajo, GMO, vas para abajo, Monsanto. Nos quieren chingar el país, es nuestra raíz. Vas para abajo, GMO, vas para abajo, Monsanto. Monsanto, you better hear us. You're going down. Thank you, Chotima. We've got an author here there he is, standing here behind us. Chris Canton, the author of Deconstructing Monsanto. Join us, Chris.
What's up, San Francisco? Are you all fired up? Are you all ready to march? All right. Okay, so I'm going to break some rules, and I'll give the speech first. And if you like it, I'll tell you something about myself. But if you start throwing bananas at me, just make sure they're not genetically modified. Okay, so I want to start off with a statistics that gets thrown around all the time. 90% of Americans want GMO labeling. Well, then why did Prop 37 fail? Because the fact is 90% of the Americans don't really know what GMOs are, okay? So what's the solution? The solution is you, and you, okay? So you are the food warriors, not CNN and not Fox News. So what can you do? There is some value in just randomly going and talking to strangers. But if you really want to change the system, you have to work on people one person at a time. Okay, just imagine if there are 100 people in this crowd who become passionate food warriors. And in the next 1 week, they go change the hearts and the minds of 100 new people. Now we have 200 people. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, right? But if this continues every single week, guess how many people we will have in 5 months? 100 million. That's 100 million food warriors. I'm not making this up. And when you go home, you can do the calculation. It's amazing. So, what do we have to be? So what do we have to do to be successful food warriors? Number one, you have to know your stuff. Okay? So you should know GMOs so well that you should be able to explain it to a 5-year-old. Number two, there is some human psychology and marketing skills. Okay? Let's talk about the latter first. When you talk to people, First of all, keep it simple. Have short, smart answers. Because people have very busy lives and they have a very short span of attention. Number two, make it relevant. When you're talking to people, subconsciously they're thinking, what's in it for me? So if you're talking to a single guy with no kids, do you want to talk about GMOs in baby food? Or do you want to talk about how GMOs are going to affect fertility? Number three, one step at a time. You know the most difficult thing in this movement? Well, it's not changing people's beliefs. It's changing people's behaviors. The fact of the matter is that we cannot bring down Monsanto if we keep buying Monsanto's products. Okay, it's as simple as that. You can go home and say, oh, I hate Monsanto, and now give me some Pepsi. Pepsi, Coke, McDonald's, pizza, Monsanto. Okay, now it's very hard. It's very, very hard to change people's food and eating behaviors. Okay, and it has to start with us. And we can change one bite at a time, one meal at a time. Right? Okay, now let's get down to brass tacks. So what does the GMO stand for? No, it stands for genetically mutated organism. Okay, use that from now on. Every single time you talk to somebody, say, hey, so do you know this contains genetically mutated organism? Because what Monsanto is doing is not a modification, folks. It's not a modification. It's a genetic mutation. Okay, if you're going to be a successful food warrior, you have to know the following pad down. You have to know it like the back of your hand. Okay? So there are only two major types of GMOs. Okay? And you have to know these two. So in the first type of the GMO, they take the gene of a bacteria and they force it into a plant cell. Now the plant starts to produce pesticides all day, all night, every part of the plant. So you can't wash off this pesticide. So when you take a bite of this, you get nice, juicy pesticides. So when I said that to my niece, this big, she said, gross! The second type of the genetically mutated organism, they do a very similar thing. They take the gene of some other bacteria and they force it into the plant. But this time, that plant becomes what is known as Roundup Ready. What does it mean? It means you can spray Roundup like crazy and it will kill every single plant, every single weed, every single fish and worms and stuff in the farm. But this totally mutant plant will survive. Now, Roundup, the way that it kills the plants is that it goes into the bloodstream of the plant. Okay, so that's called the plant sap. So when you have a Roundup Ready crop that has Roundup inside it, and you eat the Roundup corn, Roundup soy, Roundup potatoes, Roundup tomatoes, whatever, and you're gonna get Roundup. Okay, so Roundup is Monsanto's salad dressing. When the biotech for the firms, they talk to people, and this is their standard line, okay? And they've been using this for the last 30 years, and it's been working very fine. They go, oh, we need GMOs because the world population is just exploding, and we need some new technology to feed people. total BS, right? I mean, there are farmers now breaking world records like in India, world records, just using purely sustainable organic farming methods. There's not a drop of synthetic pesticides or herbicides. All natural is amazing. Okay, the GMO technology has also resulted in all kinds of weeds and bugs. Just in the last few years, they found 43 different types of weeds that Roundup cannot kill, and it's growing everywhere. But the most apocalyptic, it's a very difficult word, the most apocalyptic thing about the GMO is the way that the technology is killing off the bees, the butterflies, the frogs, the tadpoles, all the living things that we need to survive. Okay, if we don't have bees, there are no vegetables and fruits. Okay, the whole mankind could die in like 1 decade. And just this winter, 1/3 of the bees in the U.S., they died. 1/3 of all the bees. Okay, so what do? They bring bees from Australia and China in planes, in huge Boeing 787s, filled with bees. It's madness. So, very quickly about the health effects. So finally, even the mainstream media is now understanding the importance of things like the intestinal bacteria. But just last week, there was an article in the New York Times called "The Germs, My Friends." Okay, so we have about 100 trillion bacteria in our stomach, in the large intestine, and they play a crucial role. Okay, they affect your immune system, the neurological system, the digestive system. And what the GMOs do is they wreak a havoc. They wreak a havoc in your intestinal system. And study after study after study, not in the U.S. Because of the patent laws, but in the rest of the world, study after study, they show that GMOs cause diabetes, obesity, fertility problems, liver failure, all kinds of stuff, okay? Thank you. So, the one last thing is about the patent. What a beautiful day today, right? So, can you imagine if somebody comes and says that I want to patent sunlight? Sounds ridiculous. So, just like sunlight, the seeds and plants belong to Mother Nature. They belong to God. They belong to the human race, not to a corporation. And here's the flash news for you, Monsanto. Plants have been around for hundreds of millions of years without your help. So Mother Nature does not need your stinking GMOs. And the way they did it was very smart. They went to the court, okay? I now follow this logic. They went to the court and they said, well, Your Honor, these GMOs are so different. They're so unique. They are nothing like the regular plants, so we need a patent. So the court said, we don't know anything about technology. Okay, Then Monsanto went to the FDA, and they said, these are just like the regular plants. There's absolutely no difference between GMOs and plants. You don't need to do any tests. Well, do you do any regular tests for the regular tomatoes? No. Now look at this GMO tomato. It's just the same. Okay, do you follow the logic? On one day it's so different, they need a patent. On the second day, there's no difference, so you don't need any scientific studies. Okay, just this logic alone will blow a lot of people's mind. They're like, whoa, I just had a cognitive dissonance. So to wrap it up, let's face the fact that Monsanto is very, very powerful. They have billions and billions of dollars. They have bought all the politicians, Democrats, Republicans, Obama, Bush. They have bought the mainstream media. But there are some things money can't buy. Like this beautiful crowd in San Francisco. They can't buy our right to have real food. They can't buy our right to be healthy. They can't buy our love for this earth. They can't buy our love for freedom and choice. So let us stand up. Let us join hands, let us raise our voices, and let us march together. We will march today, we will march tomorrow, and we will march until we win. Thank you, San Francisco.
Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, the crowd's growing. How exciting this has been. Everyone please welcome the San Francisco founder of Slow Food, Lorenzo Scarpone.
My speech will be very short because I don't want to get tired trying to concentrate and understand a thick accent. But I came about 25 years ago here in this beautiful city, and I met a gentleman, the founder of Slow Food, the main person, the idea behind. And my family go back about 300 years, farmer, which ended up until 1980s when my father passed away at 52 with a cancer and who knows what else. 6 kids. For many generations, maybe 7, 8 generations, was able, my family, to support everybody, all the little towns. People, poor, less poor, no work. You imagine in Europe how tough was life in the 80s, 1700, 1800, early 1900. And so when I met Mr. Petrini, he was talking about the farmer are so important, and the clean food. And I've been growing up on the farm, and we thought, as most of people here, I hope that we have some farmers, that were considered second, third class citizen. And when you hear someone 30 some years ago, 20 some years ago, is talking about the farmer was the most amazing people, most important people. And I was thinking to myself, I said, oh, this guy is crazy, or is brilliant. And so now we know the rest of the story. Slow food, we are all over the world. It's important, and I think for us to be against GMOs and many fights we have throughout the world. Before politics, we are part of the political party, the most important in the world, the farmer party. Because we all know what's happening, left, right, and wherever. So for me, the political party is only the farmer, the people, the community that we destroyed. We go to the city now, how many kids play with cell phone all over the world. I'm from Italy, and the only thing, my grandfather was born in 1800, so one thing, I was a little kid, 6 years old, walked to the small town, 1 mile, to get a retirement pension. And he was a gold medal military, fought for the First World War, and he told me, listen, one thing the rich, the noble never could take away from us, the good food and the music. No one, even the poor, will take away from us. So
Basic information for us is just let live nature alone for thousands of years. And now here is with 50 years, who knows what's going to happen. Tonight, every day, if you have kids, you feel comfortable to feed the food we can buy anywhere. You feel comfortable? I have 3 kids. I don't feel comfortable. I hope you don't feel also comfortable. It's so important. When you go to a restaurant, start to ask a question. Mr. Restaurateur, fast food, store food, any food, ask the question, is this GMOs? Did I talk about that? I don't think very few people talk about that. Huh? So, Mr. Restaurateur, start to say to your supplier, is this GMOs? And then if you want to eat the GMOs, go ahead, eat the GMOs. But we don't want to eat the GMOs. So let us know. We have an event happening in Italy. Most of the time we try to all over the world in the last 5 to 7 years called the most Latino knows Terra Madre, Mother Earth. And the first time it was organized, we had the people come from Africa, all over the world, South America, Siberia, and they were farmers. They had to work 4 or 5 days to get to a location, to get the passport, and then eventually get on the plane, and everything on the plane, from the Amazon forest on. For us, the farmer is the greatest community, and I feel fortunate to be in San Francisco, but we have a long way to go. Pizza, if you have a pizza or pasta, I need to know if there is a GMOs. And they're everywhere, they bought with money, everywhere political aisles. And the problem, we have too many ignorant politicians that they don't know the political truth. And we are for the farmer, not the farmer that been to Stanford, not the farmer that been to university, the farmer that cannot even speak because they don't know how to behave themselves. Dignity, one thing is dignity we need to give to the farmer. The most important things, because they're happy with a little money, they know how to live with little money. We can learn from them. They know how to be self-sufficient. They don't care very much the downturn of economics because they know how to survive. Unfortunately, most of them put them out of business. Well, I don't have very much things to say. I just, the fight we have in Soul Food is all over the world, and we have a very strong presence in the European community, but it's been tough over there also. We hope we're going to start to win more battle, but our kids in school and a lot of teachers thinking about always academic. There is very little we can do with academics when they're going to die because of obesity, because they die for disease very early age. You can go to the best university, but you will die young. So maybe let's emphasize more in the school. Make sure the teacher don't rush with the principal all the time, study. Let them learn how to eat before so they can learn better with a nice fat in brain. Thank you very much. Hopefully, vote good on and again to GMOs. Someday, 10 years ago, it was difficult to say we're going to beat Monsanto. 10 years from now, maybe it's going to be gone. And if you know some friends invest in Monsanto stock market, tell them to put your money away. Touch the pocket. Thank you. Thank you, Lorenzo. So I want to do a quick thank you also to UVG, Underground Visions and Perfection, because they're providing the sound. They came through at the last second. We didn't know if we had sound until yesterday. So big round of applause for all those guys. Okay, so now I'm going to convoke 2 things. How many of the people here have been following the Facebook group page? All right, that's awesome. So we need to have an audition. We're going to move it because there's no room around the column. We're going to have an audition for the kids' performance. It's going to be right behind this thing right here on the other side by the elevator in 5 minutes. So if any kids want to participate in the performance art, now's the time. Also, there's another audition. I have 4 spaces for
pallbearers for the coffin, for Monsanto's coffin. They're also going to be in the performance art. So Matt Wold and I need 3 others actually. Matt's already auditioned, also to meet us back here. So in 5 minutes. Matt, do you hear me? I don't know if he heard me. I hope he did. So then I have one brief interview with Nabira. Come on out, Nabira. Nabira is a friend of mine who is a fashion model here in San Francisco, and she's got an interesting story. So, Nabira, who are you?
My name is Nabira, and I came from Kazakhstan 2 years ago here. So, when I was young, very young, so I started picking cottons because where I grew up, it was farm, so I was cotton picker. So from the day, like morning till evening, we had to pick the cottons. In a day, like 100 kilos, and it was not easy job. And we would close our mouths, like covered, like this gentleman, not like this device, but with a rock. And at the end of the day, there is a lot of like we had an allergy, and when you go to the cotton field, you would cough a lot. But at that time, I did not understand what kind of chemicals they would use. And now I know what's been using, and it's really poisoning. And still now in Kazakhstan, there is a lot of child workers working in cotton field.
So you're telling us that today there's a lot of child workers in Kazakhstan that are exposed to chemicals in the cotton fields?
Yes, it is. Yeah, unfortunately, there is from 11 years old young children, and they're starting to missing school. That instead of going to school, just going there to pick up pick the cottons in a day, working only $3 and $4 in a day, and gathering like 100 kilos.
How many years were you a cotton picker?
I started like since I was 11, and pretty much until I finished high school.
And the reason we asked Nabira to come on, because she's evidence of coming up from something really horrible, like being a child worker in a farm, and now she's a fashion model here in San Francisco, and I think that's a heroic story, and if we can give her a round of applause, that would be really awesome. And it also exposes another crime of Monsanto and the other chemical companies, because all over the world in developing nations, there's children who work in the fields, just like Antonio did, just like Nabira did, who are exposed to chemicals every single day. And that's something that we need to stop also. So that is, do we have our audition going? Are the kids coming up? Oh, by the way, these kids need to be at least 8. I apologize for not saying that before, because this is a little bit mature, the performance. So I don't want real little ones. And who's next? Monica. Thank you, Nabila.
Let's everyone welcome Zach Calvir. Zach, come on out. From Organic Consumer Association. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, my father always told me that he saw me as a fellow warrior for justice. So I want to thank Monsanto for bringing all my fellow brothers and sisters and my fellow warriors for justice here today. You know, I want to tell a little story to give a little backdrop on exactly where we're at and why we're all here. It sounds more like an Oliver Stone conspiracy movie, but it actually is the truth. And the question is, how did the most nefarious chemical corporation of the 20th century over the last 20 years develop a monopoly of our food system? That's a question that we need to answer, and I think that's why we're all here today. And the question starts with Monsanto's long sordid history in creating chemicals that kill other human beings. For instance, Agent Orange, DDT, PCBs. You know, Agent Orange killed 500,000 Vietnamese in Vietnam and sickened 2 to 4 million more Vietnamese. And in fact, Vietnamese children to this day are still being born with birth defects because of Monsanto chemicals. And to this day, Monsanto still refuses to admit any culpability. And it's not just the Vietnamese, of course, that suffered under the hands of Monsanto. Over 100,000 American veterans from the Vietnam War are still suffering from Agent Orange. And Monsanto to this day refuses to give them the benefits that they deserve. And in fact, when Dow Chemical and Monsanto finally lost and had to settle, they gave a total of $1,200 a month to these Vietnam veterans for only 10 years. That's $12,000 per veteran that they helped destroy the lives of. And this is now the company that grows our food and sprays it with their latest toxins that are that are inspired by the very Agent Orange they doused Vietnam with. I say no. I say no to Monsanto. And let's remember how they got here. So it was 20 years ago that Monsanto decided they needed to rebrand themselves because of the disasters of Agent Orange and DDT and PCBs, all of which are banned now. So they hired Mitt Romney and Bain Capital to, quite a team, to figure out a way to rebrand their corporation. So they switched from being a chemical company and decided to go into this new emerging industry of biotech, where they can actually claim that they're doing it to feed the hungry and help farmers. And so over the last 20 years, we've seen this steady encroachment of Monsanto over our food system. They did it by buying our politicians, infiltrating the regulatory agents like the FDA, which they now own, gaining larger and larger subsidies in our farm bills. And here we are now, 20 years later, and Monsanto owns over 90% of the soy patents, over 80% of the corn, and over 80% of the sugar and alfalfa and cottonseed. And not only that, but those patents they have over all of our food require Roundup herbicides to be doused with. So once we start growing their seeds, we have to also start using their herbicides, which, by the way, are inspired by Agent Orange. So now this company has control of our food system, has control of the herbicides that we put on that food system. And let's take a look at the claims they made versus the reality. They told us that switching to GMOs would increase yields, would help farmer profits, and let's take this and reduce the use of pesticides. Well, in the last 20 years, pesticides have increased by 500 million pounds. Do I need more volume? Okay, how's that? So now we know after 20 years of GMOs that the yields have not increased, farmers' lives have worsened, because what's happened is they don't allow farmers to keep the seeds for more than a year, so they have to repurchase the seeds every year. They have to buy Monsanto's herbicides to use on the seeds, and the seeds have increased 375% over the last 20 years. So what they've done is impoverish farmers in this country and around the world. And in fact, let's look no further than India right now. There's a whole belt in India they call the suicide belt. And that's hundreds of thousands of Indian farmers that have committed suicide, many of them using Monsanto's herbicide as a political statement to do it. And the reason is because the seeds they can't save, the amount of water that Monsanto's told them that they would need to grow the crops was not enough. The yields were not as much as Monsanto said, and so these farmers now have no way to live and make enough food to eat, so they're killing themselves around the world. So everything that we've been told has been a lie. And this is by the same corporation that has a long history of lying to us. So what I would ask is, and I would tell Monsanto this, the natural world is not your genetic playground.
Yeah.
We human beings are not lab rats for your genetic concoctions.
Yeah.
You do not have the right to decide the fate of the honeybees and the butterflies that your pesticides are destroying. And small farmers around the world are not tools for you to make profit, but they are creators of healthy food for their families and for their communities. And let's just remember, when we talk about the honeybees, 1 out of every 3 bites you take is thanks to the honeybee. 90% of the crops that provide us the food that we eat, 70% of those are pollinated by the honeybee. So when Monsanto's next pesticide comes along that's going to kill off the honeybee, we should know what they're doing to nature is what they're doing to us. So before I go, I want to quote a Hopi elder who was once asked a question when looking at the current paradigm and all that we're up against, all the corporate power, all the war, all the pollution, all the corruption. And the person said, how do we get out of this? What's going to save us? And he looked at the person and he said, we are the ones who we have been waiting for. All of us. And I would just add one little bit to that. We are also the ones that Monsanto fears and should fear. And my last point today, and our history of this United States has proven this to be true. The only thing that has ever defeated organized money is organized people. So here's the food freedom, food democracy, and a new food revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you all for coming out and standing in the sunshine all this time patiently. Thank you for being here and standing up for this very important cause. I just wanted to let you all know that we've had some changes in the permits and such in the last few days, so thank you for your patience. We're going to be staying here and hearing a few more speakers until 1:30 before we move down to Ferry Plaza. So the march won't actually leave this area until 1:30, so a little bit more patience. We have a couple more great speakers with us.
Beautiful day.
I'd like to call very briefly some of our friends from the Gill Track and Occupy the Farm.
Yeah. All right.
Everyone, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yo, it's great to see everybody out here. It's great to be standing with people against genetic engineering and corporate control of the food system. I want to give props to all the organizers. Monica, right before I came up here, Monica said to me, you know, it's not you and me, it's us. So I really want to honor that. It's not, you know, it's you and me and it's us. And let's not let ourselves be divided. So how many people here are familiar with what's been going on at the Gill Track? All right. Bridget and I from Occupy the Farm. We are continuing to reclaim land. We are continuing to fight UC, University of California, which is not the free speech. You know, they're only the home of free speech because they tried to crush the free speech movement. So let's not see ourselves who's on whose side. So we're reclaiming that land that is in the Albany-Berkeley border. We're having a camp out tonight. Rally starts at 5 o'clock. Very conveniently right after this, we're going to be camping out. Tomorrow we have a work day. We're doing remediation to the land. We're planting food on the land. And we're having workshops. So come on out tonight, camp out with your family. Come tomorrow, hang out and do workshops with us and plant food with us. And continue to be involved with Occupy the Farm. And don't be scared, you know. Marches are great. I'm really glad to be here. But we cannot stop the marches. We have to act. We have to take the next action. We have to reclaim this earth. And all power to the people on the earth.
I'm from Occupy the Farm, but I am also an organizer for the March Against Monsanto. You know what I'm here to talk about today? I'm here to talk about food justice. Food justice goes above and beyond this march. Organizations and collectives such as Fat Beats, City Slickers, and Occupy the Farm do work daily to facilitate community gardens and urban farming. Alternatives like People's Grocery in West Oakland provide low-cost organics to those of us who cannot afford to shop at Whole Foods. Our movement is a diverse ecosystem of regular folks like you and me making a difference every day. I want to give a shout out to Occupy the Farm's after party, where we'll be working to keep the clean soil from being turned into a parking lot. We need your community. Make connections so we can build this movement. Let's talk about monoculture versus biodiversity. Like an ecosystem, our movement needs diversity, not one tactic, but a wide array of cultures and strategies working together to provide an alternative to the monoculture bred from Monsanto's sick relationship with the state. And yeah, I'm talking to you, FDA Commissioner Michael Taylor. So when I talk about diversity, I don't just mean preserving the biodiversity in plant life. I'm proud that in the statement on May 22nd of this year, March Against Monsanto embraced a diversity of tactics to be used against Monsanto and their affiliates. And Monsanto, I have a message for you. We are urban farmers and community gardeners, and we're facilitating permaculture in spaces designated for capitalism. We are repressed by the police, often violently, like we were a couple of weeks ago at Occupy the Farm. But our numbers, they're growing. Look at how many of us there are here. And with the growth in our numbers, so grows our ability to resist and refuse. What was the statement? Genetically mutated organisms. Right here, right now, we're taking ownership of our food and our justice. And because the people united can never be defeated, right? The people united can never be defeated. The people united can never be defeated. So come on down to the Guild Track tonight in Albany tonight, 5 p.m.
Hello, everybody. Hey, everybody's getting a little tired of us talking, right? I'm really sorry. We have a little bit longer to wait because there's some kind of a corral going on down at the other end at Justin Herman Plaza. But we're gonna do the performance of the kids. Everybody's ready. We've just got a couple more things to do with that. We've got a couple more speakers, and then we'll start the march. Okay, what time is it now?
Sorry about that.
We've got about 40 minutes left. So that's why I said bring a bag lunch. Who brought lunch? Let's have lunch, everybody. Okay, and we're gonna get the next speakers on, and we're gonna. Is this what we're doing? Is it your turn, Jorge? All right. No? No? Who's next? Okay.
Mark Squire. Everyone please welcome one of the board members of Non-GMO Project. He's working on our behalf.
Hey guys, you look great. You really look great from up here. You know, I'm here partly representing grocers. I'm a grocer every day. There's a bunch of grocers in this crowd I happen to know. Many of them have signed a petition that they will never sell GMO salmon. That's happening. You know, as grocers, we're really concerned. We've been fighting for labeling of foods. It's essential. When I first learned about Monsanto, it was when the court documents were coming out about their PCB plant in Alliston, Louisiana, where they were literally pumping carcinogens into the stream there, hundreds of pounds a day. And what came out in the court documents later was that not only did they internally know that those were carcinogens that they were pumping in, but they actually for 20 years hid it from the population. So these people were dying of cancer and they didn't even know it and they weren't being told. So this is the kind of gangsters that we're dealing with when we're talking about Monsanto. We're talking about real gangster types. You know, in fact, I think that the analogy of gangsters is maybe not applicable anymore. To me, a much better analogy in this day and age is, you know the evil wizard that is in many of our movies, that is such a good talker that they can, when they talk, they mesmerize the people and get them to think that things are opposite of the way they really are. That is a way better analogy. We're talking with a company in the biotech industry today that is so good at manipulating the language, and they've mesmerized all our elected officials. They've mesmerized Obama. They've taken this country away from us. So I believe that one of the really important things we do is we work to cut through that BS. When they say things like these GMOs don't cause health problems, we need to all say, where is the science? We want to see the good, unbiased science showing us that. We demand that as Americans. We demand that science. When they make these utterly idiot claims that they're going to feed the hungry of the world, we need to say, we need to see the science on that. We know that there's science showing that that's not true, but they are so skillful at saying it over and over and over to our electeds and mesmerizing them. We want to see the solid science, independent science that is not bought out by the biotech industry. We need independent science. Yeah, I'm just ready to march, and I know you all are too. It's, I just want to, in my final thing, I just want to say how important the stakes are. We're talking about a generation of health for our children. This is, what these people are doing is utterly criminal. We need to stop them. This is our chance, and I think part of that is that if we can just get labeling, labeling is the first step. If we can't get the immediate good science right now, we at least want the labeling today. We're unwilling to wait any longer.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your patience, everyone. A brief presentation by a poet who will give us just a very quick few words. Come, Jonathan. Jonathan, you're.
What's up, what's up? So in 2011, we were part of about 100 people that marched from New York City to Washington, D.C. on the Right to Know March. Right here. That's right. Right before Proposition 37, we were taking it to the national level. Who here was on that march? Oh yeah, I see the family, Eco Wolf family over there, a couple people over there. So we wrote a poem for that piece right there, and we also made these freak show puppets that you see around, see more of these banners. So thank you so much. Start something like this. There's a new freak in town, but you may not have heard, 'cause they don't need to tell us or give us their word. They're GMOs with a freaky science vision. They are genetically modified organisms, combining plants, animals, and viruses together to create something new. But I have to ask whether or not these new things are put through a test. All their scientists tell us is that they are best. Well, if they are so safe, then why don't they label the products in stores that wind up on our tables? And why aren't they allowed in most other countries? They're testing on us without scrutiny. GMOs are no good. They're just Franken-food. Not good for anything from plants, crops, or wood. They should stop messing with nature and just keep things organic. Right? Stop causing such a mess and causing such panic. Because nature has known for thousands of years We don't want a future filled with tears for what was created. A freak show of greed. These are things that nobody needs. We can start with a label because we have a right to know. So we can make choices to avoid GMOs. And then the whole wide world will know the truth about Monsanto. Our dollars will say no to this GMO freak show. We got a right to know. We got a right to know. We got a right to label these GMOs. You got a right to know. You got a right to know. You got a right to label these GMOs. GMOs. Oh, don't you think we have a right to know? Right to know. All we want to label for the food that's on our table. We should all say no to GMO. One more time. GMOs. GMOs. Oh, don't you think we have a right to know? Right to know. All we want to label for the food that's on our table. We should all say no to GMOs. We should all say no to GMOs. Yeah. Thank you very much, y'all.
Lots and lots of people here. Got a couple thousand at least. Here in San Francisco, we're at Union Square. Live streaming, March against Monsanto.
A few words from Rachel. Hang tight, folks. We're not going to long.
Hi, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about here. How are you guys doing? Are you having fun? Woo! We know you're getting kind of anxious to go marching, but just be patient. We're waiting for a few more things, and then we're going to get going here. I think we're waiting for Eric. How many moms and kids are out there? You guys are going to be first in this march, so when we ask you to, I'm going to ask you to kind of go on that side of this whole area. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'll come back up here and let you know. So when you see me up here again, moms and kids run over there and get ready. How many of you have signed the label GMOs, volunteer, or get on the email list, form, something like that going around? Raise your hand. Cool. All of you who have it, maybe go over there, get involved. We need your help. Can somebody with that first green umbrella right here? We have the Monsanto report out from Food and Water Watch. We're asking for a sliding donation, whatever you can give, $2, $1, whatever. That's over there as well.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Monica, what's up?
Waiting for Eric. Tell her about who's coming this afternoon.
Who's coming this afternoon?
Stick around, everyone. This afternoon at Ferry Building at the, excuse me, Rachel, at the rally, we have food first. Eric Holt Jimenez is here with us. This afternoon we'll be speaking. Armando Nieto from Community Food and Justice Coalition. Our beloved Pam Larry from Label GMOs. Let me see if I can remember everybody else. And if I miss it, oh, David Gagai from Pesticide Action Network North America will be here, and Paul Cox from Vietnam Vets Against War. He was one of the leading voices on the campaign against Agent Orange. So stay with us, folks. We won't be long.
I just wanted everyone to say thank you to Monica for working so hard and doing all this. She's trying to keep track of all these people, so I'm up here to entertain you while she's looking for them. Sorry, not that much. Hi. I don't really know what to say. I'm very thankful that all of you guys are out here today. How many of you are from San Francisco, live in San Francisco? Awesome. You're here. Hi.
Hello, San Francisco. My name is T. Bergen, and I want you to know about organicsforfree.com. A lot of you already received our leaflets out there in the audience, and we want you to know that we can help you to get it for free. We heal. We heal what GMOs tear up. We heal the gut. How many of you out there know about gut health? The health of your intestines. Woo! 7 is traced to poor gut health. We heal the gut. So come see us, sign up, or just sign up online. If you want to get your organics for free, all you have to do is inspire 3 people to purchase. Yours can be free indefinitely. So thank you very much.
All right, guys, I got to shut off for a second here to do a quick save, and I'll be right back.
Thank you so much for your